Welcome to the listening window, where you can practice English by listening, repeating, and slowly falling into a story. Today's tale is called The Man in Apartment 8B. It starts with a girl moving into a new building where everything seems normal, except for one neighbor she's told never to speak to. What begins as simple curiosity turns into something far more disturbing. Repeat after every sentence. And don't forget, you can read and practice the full script by clicking the link in the description. Let's begin. My name is Clara, and this is the story of the strangest year of my life. It started when I moved into a small apartment in the city. Nothing fancy, just a one-bedroom place in an old building, the kind with narrow hallways, creaky elevators, and neighbors you hardly ever see. I had just gotten my first full-time job, and I was excited to finally be on my own. It felt like freedom, independence, a fresh start. The building had 7 floors, and I lived on the 6th. Apartment 6C. I still remember the first time I walked in. There was a weird smell in the hallway, like dust and oranges. The wallpaper was peeling a little at the corners, and one of the lights above the elevator flickered constantly. But it felt quiet, safe. The landlord, Mr. Dreyfus, was a thin, balding man in his 60s with glasses too big for his face. He handed me the keys and said something strange. He said, "Welcome to Brookside Arms, Clara. Let me know if you need anything. Oh, and stay away from apartment 8B." I laughed, thinking he was joking. But he didn't laugh back. "Seriously," he said. "No deliveries. No knocking. No talking." I waited for him to explain. He didn't. Just smiled, nodded, and walked away. I figured maybe it was just some grumpy old tenant or a shut-in with health issues. I didn't think about it again. At least not until I heard the noise. It was my 3rd night living there. Around 2:15 in the morning, I was lying in bed, half asleep, when I heard footsteps. Not upstairs, but directly above me. I looked at the ceiling and realized there was no 7th floor above me. The top floor was the 8th, and 8B was directly above 6C. At first, I thought I imagined it. But then it happened again 2 nights later. Footsteps, pacing, then dragging, and then a knock. Not at my door, but upstairs. It echoed down like someone was tapping directly into my skull. I tried to ignore it. But the more I listened, the more I noticed. The steps didn't sound normal. They didn't start or stop at a door. They didn't follow a straight path. It was like someone walking in circles. Or waiting. I got curious. Too curious. So, the next morning, I asked the woman in 6A, her name was Teresa, if she knew anything about 8B. She froze. Then whispered, "Don't ask about him. Don't go near that floor." When I pushed a little, she just said one more thing. "He watches." I should have listened, but I didn't. That night, I took the elevator to the 8th floor. The lights were dimmer than usual. The hallway was empty, eerily clean compared to the others. And at the far end stood a single black door. 8B. There was no peephole, no doormat, not even a name tag. Just a plain black door, perfectly painted, with a gold 8B in the center. I walked toward it. But the moment I got within 5 feet of the door, my phone shut off. Black screen. Dead. And the lights above me flickered, then went out. I ran back to the elevator. The next day, I asked the landlord about it again. I told him what happened. He just shook his head and said, "I warned you, Clara. Some doors you don't open. Not because they're locked, but because you should be." I started having nightmares. Dreams of the hallway, of the black door, of a tall man standing behind it. Sometimes in the dreams, he would whisper my name, over and over. And in one dream, he opened the door, and he looked like me, exactly like me, but with no eyes, just smooth, pale skin where his eyes should be. And when he smiled, I felt something inside me scream, like something had just woken up. I started avoiding the building as much as possible. I worked late, stayed out, slept on friends' couches. But every time I came back, there'd be something new. Once, my door was unlocked, even though I know I locked it. Another time, my window was open, even though I never touched it. And then, one morning, I found a small, black envelope under my front door. No name, no handwriting, just one sentence printed inside. "It's your turn to knock." I moved out 2 days later. Didn't even finish packing. I broke my lease, left everything behind, and never looked back. It's been 3 years since then. I live in a different city now. But sometimes when I'm alone at night, I still hear footsteps above me, even if I live on the top floor. Thank you for listening to this story on the listening window. Now, here's where you come in. Pause the story right after Clara finds the envelope. What would have happened if she had knocked on the door? Would she have met her double? Would she have disappeared forever? Would she have been pulled into another reality? Drop your version of the ending in the comments below. Backhand index pointing down. I'll be reading and replying to the most imaginative ones. And if you'd like to read and practice the story again, click the link in the description to download the full script. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more twisted tales and speaking practice. See you next time behind the listening window.